marketing is creating relationships with other humans. And I don't care if you're selling, to other businesses. People will say to me, well, that doesn't apply to B2B, business to business sales. Yes, it does. I did corporate marketing. I did corporate sales, and it's always one human selling to another human.
Hello, prosperity seekers, and welcome to another episode of The Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allyson Chavez, and as always, I'm delighted and privileged to have you spend your time here with me. I guess I should have started this aloha. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you know I have a different background. It seems like there's a giraffe sprouting out of my shoulder. I don't know what that's all about these days, but we are coming at you live from Maui, at least as of this recording, and I'm getting all of the Hawaii vibes today, which is why I am so excited to share our next guest with you. Because, the Hawaiian Islands are all about feminine energy. And when we're women with a mission, it's really, really easy to get stuck in that masculine energy. So today I am going to introduce you to a wonderful woman that's going to show you and talk about how she does business like a woman instead of a smaller, less hairy man, and what it means to her. But before I bring her on, just want to give you a quick reminder. If you're listening to the podcast episode, make sure you're listening on your favorite app. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we would sure love it if you would hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever we're releasing a new episode. And head on over to prosperityapproach.com/workshop. We got another workshop that we've got coming up and would love to play with you over there. If you're liking what you're hearing, please share the Prosperity Approach with other women that you think would find this valuable. We love to get the word out. And as we know, the feminine is all about connection. It's all about community. So spread the word. That's the greatest compliment you could ever give me or Team Prosperity. All right. So I am so excited to introduce you to the amazing Melissa Kellogg Lueck. Let me tell you just a little bit about her. Melissa is the CEO and the lead coach of Avanti Business Academy for Women. She's an expert in helping women make more and have fun doing it through building their confidence and their marketing skills. She serves her clients through one-on-one coaching and group experiences. She's also a sought-after speaker and writer, passionate about helping as many women as possible to build and scale successful businesses, make more, and hustle less. Oh, you're speaking my language, Melissa. Much of what she teaches and coaches stems from what she's learned as an entrepreneur for the last 20 years, having founded numerous internet and technology companies before founding her current enterprise, Avanti Creative Group Inc. in 2005. She holds a bachelor's degree in history and political science and an MBA in marketing from Hofstra University in New York. And Melissa is also a wife and mother to 2 children and her golden doodle, Ginger. So holy cow, Melissa, if nothing screams masculine in business, like your bio totally screams masculine in business. And yet to look at you, you are feminine, you are so beautiful, and you do business like a woman. And I want to hear how you do it and what it means to you and how you were able to get yourself to that place, because history and political science, marketing, like IT, technology, all of those things are so masculine. So please share with us your journey.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to rewrite my bio, because you read that and I'm thinking about my navy blue suit and my navy blue pumps, and I just want to go put them on and march around.
No, you look stunning in your sleeveless top and your silver chain. It's so gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah. I just recently worked with a stylist, actually. I've never done that before. And it was so fun to really have someone just appreciate your body I'm 51 years old now. So appreciate my 51-year-old body and be like, okay, this is how we're going to dress it to make it look amazing. And it was so fun. So
I never knew how to dress myself. And so I got a stylist as well. And it was so great to finally get out of judgment about my body and have things that just are so flattering. So I love that. Yeah. She dressed you quite well.
Thank you. Thanks. So
I wish I looked as good as you when I turned 51. Holy cow. I don't even believe you. But anyway, on to today's topic.
Yeah. So my journey, I've been basically working my entire life. I think my first real job, I mean, I was babysitting when I was real young, but my first, I would say my air quotes, real job was I delivered papers when I was 15 and have been, working since then. I worked in law firms. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer and then went to school. And that's why I majored in history and political science, because that was kind of like the pre-law for the school that I went to. And then I decided that really what I loved most was writing, and that I didn't really want to be a lawyer. I just wanted to write. And so then I had to make a living, which of course, at that point, I didn't think you could make a living as a writer. So like, well, I'll go into business and marketing, right? So I got my MBA in that, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I love marketing, and I still do. I think my relationship with marketing has been kind of on again, off again, but it's definitely on again now, as I've learned to do it my own way and to market like a woman, right?
Okay, I have to stop you right there, because most women in business have an off again relationship with marketing. And they feel so intimidated by the whole idea of marketing. And I don't even know what to do. And so many women they'll either hold off their business because marketing just feels so daunting to them, or they won't scale their business because they don't really know how to do that. So I would love to hear this piece, because I was so intimidated by marketing when I first got started. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think that was a huge stumbling block for me for a long, long time, because I was trying to do it like a man, and it was sucking my soul dry, and I wasn't doing it very well enough to, scale it to multiple six figures. But I never felt like I was really as authentic as I could have been, because I think I was just trying to pigeon myself into what marketing is. So tell me how you do marketing like a woman.
Yeah, well, similar to you, obviously I have my MBA in marketing, so I know all of like the formal training, the very masculine approach to marketing. So I knew all of that. But then when I got to wanting to start my own business, I knew I was going to have to do it for myself. And I decided, that I really wanted to discover a way that I could create my business and run my business in a way that would also give me balance in my life, or I could have my work and also have my life. So when it came to marketing in the early years, I just decided I wasn't going to do it like I learned how to do it in school, because there was no way I could do a corporate typical corporate marketing plan with my small solopreneur business. There wasn't the time or the money to do that. So I had to really create a way of marketing and communicating that was all about connection and all about relationship. Because at the end of the day, marketing is creating relationships with other humans. And I don't care if you're selling to other businesses. People will say to me, well, that doesn't apply to B2B, business to business sales. Yes, it does. I did corporate marketing. I did corporate sales, and it's always one human selling to another human, right? Mm-hmm. And when we try to put ourselves into the box of like the corporate box of what we think we should be doing, it doesn't allow for our relational, our spirit, our energy to come through. Right. And I think that's why there's so much dissonance for a lot of women, because we have that relational piece. And I was just talking to a client about this today. We have that relational community, cooperative spirit to us. But the corporate, the way a lot of us were raised in the corporate world, or, the formal business world, was that you had to put all of that aside, right? That you couldn't have that. Mm-hmm. And that isn't what created business. But what actually creates business is that relational part of us. And for me, I was in very male dominated industries. And so I did not feel safe letting my personality, my own energy, my attractiveness come out, because, I was often a victim of unwanted advances by men, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to stick to the script.
sad.
Started my business. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad because it caused you to shrink instead of really expand, which is what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
Because you had to be in survival, because how is this going to be interpreted? And this isn't a male bashing session. I don't believe in male bashing or female bashing. But it's really interesting. And I think it really, what you experienced, and then like moving away from that, realizing I've got to do my own thing. We've got this thing going on right now called the Great Resignation, right? Mm-hmm. Where people got back to themselves when they couldn't go to work and found out things that they really loved and things that they didn't really like, and then getting forced back into going back to the office and getting back in their box. There's a lot of people that are bucking that. And so many women in corporate. How many women in corporate did you talk to that felt that their souls were sucked dry? It's like, I talked to so many women that almost have to go into therapy when they're transitioning out of corporate because of how toxic it was for their soul. Not that there were super horrible people, but just how they could and couldn't express just did not speak to them. And did you kind of have that experience?
Yes, I did, because like I said, I didn't feel safe. Mm-hmm. And being the full expression of myself, because I didn't think that was going to close the deals or was going to make me successful. All of my role models of successful business people early in my career were men, right? I didn't have any female role models in business. Mm-hmm. And so in order to create that safety, I had to leave that world, right? Because I didn't feel like I was going to be able to express myself. But I didn't really even know that at the time, right? Yeah.
We get all of that clarity when we look back and connect the dots, for sure. But how was it when you got out of corporate, you started your own business, and you were like, I have to do this in a completely different way? Was there a part of you that just bucked that? I mean, you spent considerable time in college. My goodness, you got an MBA in marketing. Yeah. So not only a lot of time in that indoctrination of that system, but lots and lots and lots of money in that as well. So did you have any like internal conflict going into that as you were doing it in a totally different way?
Yeah, definitely. And the catalyst for that was living through 9/11 in New York City. And so I was there for that. And I lost friends, neighbors, classmates. And all they did is they went to work that day. And, that the culture that I was in at that point was a lot of hustle and a lot of hard work equals money. So if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to make any money. Right. But then I experienced 9/11 and I was like, if I go to work today and I don't come home, is this how I want my life to end? And the answer was no. So I needed to make some changes. And so I got out of that environment and I came back home to Colorado, where I am now. And I decided I was going to create a life and a business that if today was my last day, I'd be totally fine with it. I would know that I had lived this life and this day with the intention that I wanted. And so that was the event that really allowed me to turn my back on all of that, corporate indoctrination, that masculine energy, to create something completely different.
Wow. That is beautiful. And what a poignant, devastating kind of an experience to have to go through. But you allowed it to be a catalyst to really, really bless your life, and then bless so many others' lives from it as well. And that's just, I'm so sorry, but also so grateful that you took something so horrific and made it into something really, really beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. So how do you convince yourself and other women to get out of hustle? Because we're in seasons of hustle. I hear that from people all the time. You got to hustle if you want to get your goals met. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hustle. So how do you get out of the hustle less, but make more? What do you do? How do you do it?
So what I think of hustle is like overworking, under-earning, and compensating for lack of confidence and lack of belief with action, like trying to out-action lack of belief and faith in ourselves and the mission that God has put us on this planet to do. And so that's what I think of as hustle. And so in order to get out of that, we have to come back to ourselves, to, first of all, listening to our inner knowing, the voice of God, that's the still small voice within us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about trusting ourselves and having our own back and creating safety for ourselves internally so that we can be that full expression of ourselves. And when we connect with who we really are and what we really love and what we would love to do and how we love to serve the world, and we allow ourselves the freedom to do that without judgment, and that's what creates the lack of hustle, because we can just be and go out into the world and serve our people, and they will reward us with finance, with money, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I heard it said one time that if you don't have financial capital, then work on relationship capital, because relationship capital will always turn into financial capital. Now, you have to be genuine as you do this. You don't want to be using people and be like, I'm going to be your friend because somehow I'm going to get money out of you. Like, you don't want to do that. But I really think that is like the quintessential expression of doing business like a woman, is working on relationship capital and making those connections. You said something really interesting. I love your version of what hustle is, that it's overworking in action, compensating for lack of confidence and lack of belief and faith in you and in your mission. So is there something that you tell your clients or that you would be willing to share with us to help women with that confidence piece?
Let's see. Well, there's so many things. This is the work that I do. But it really is appreciating yourself for what you're great at. And confidence begins within. So often we are looking to external validation, people to give us confidence. Like, oh, if I earn 100K a year, I'll be confident then. Or if my husband thinks I'm doing a good job and then I'll be confident. Or if my boss says I'm doing a good job, then I'll be confident. Well, no, the confidence has to begin within. And that is a feeling that is created by a thought. So you can begin to create thoughts about yourself that give you confidence, will give you that feeling of confidence. And the one way that I do that just came to mind and that I coach my clients on is creating a accomplishments folder, whether it's digital or actual, and collect all the accolades that people give you. Right. And like, whether it's a client saying thank you, or someone sending you an email saying, I really loved that post that you wrote, or, so such and such touched me, and keep a file of all those things and go back even to, for me, I went back to third grade when I wrote my first little book, and it got bound and published, and not published to the world, but published to me. And it was something I was really, really proud of.
Wow.
And create that evidence of confidence for yourself. And you can go and read that list every day if you have to. And let those thoughts create that confidence inside of you. And then just go out into the world, and you will go out in a whole different energy, a whole different spirit.
I really love that, because instead of us looking for external validation that we're okay and we're on the right track. And by the way, women are wired to do this more so than men are. It's in our biology. So it's not that you're less than, it's just how we're wired. We're looking for that external validation. But this is evidence. I love that you said that. Like, this is evidence, and women want to make a difference in the world, and men do too. But I have found, like, when I'm talking to God-centered or spiritually minded women, they want to make a difference. They also want to make a dollar. And here you have a list of things that is evidence that you're making a difference. I think the greatest compliment that I get is when somebody says, this is exactly what I needed to hear today.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, I answered a prayer, and she maybe wasn't even praying, but this is what she needed. And God used me to fulfill that. And that is the most humbling experience to have, that I got to be an instrument in God's hands for that one woman in that moment. And it is so beautiful. And it's like, and like you said, and then just go out into the world. because you are making a difference, and you make a difference every single day. And look at what you're doing, and look at what you've done in the third grade, even to make your own difference. So, oh gosh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I think that helps us too, not only to get into confidence, but out of that self-judgment. Because women have this beat up stick of not enoughness that we carry around all the time and just pummel ourselves with it. But when you have that of like, no, look at the good I'm already doing. And me just showing up is making a difference, at least to me today. And what else could I do? Like, I think that's absolutely beautiful. I'm having so much fun in this conversation. I'm not ready to end it yet. So I have to ask you a question. I was at a business marketing, like 3-day event. And this, with this man that was running it, I totally respected him. He was talking about marketing, and he was talking about getting out of the red ocean and getting into the blue ocean. And the red ocean is where everybody's saying the same thing. And then you got to have this unique twist on everything. And then you get into your own blue ocean and there's no sharks there. And as he was talking, I just felt heavier and heavier and heavier. Like, how do I stand out? And how do I make myself unique? And la, 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 la. And a month later, and then we had to do like all these exercises, and I was totally stumped. I had no ideas come to me for how I could get out of a red ocean and get into a blue ocean. About a month later, I was at another conference, and a woman was leading it and talking about marketing. And she said the same thing you do. It's all about relationships. She said, your audience doesn't want marketing. Your audience wants medicine. And so what's the medicine that they need today? Is it a medicine about confidence? Is it a medicine about connection? What do they need? What's the shot that they need? And when she said those two things, this is about relationship and this is about medicine. What do they need? Suddenly, the floodgates opened, and marketing and my message became so much easier to convey. And how do I help? And what makes me different? Like suddenly that was all there. And so what do you do as far as like what your marketing is and what your angle is to lead as a woman in that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And what I would say to the blue ocean idea is that is, again, us looking to external. Like that means we have to go and look at all the competitors and see what everybody else is doing. But what I teach my clients is we need to be looking inside and what we're doing and how we are unique, because we are our own blue ocean. We create our own blue ocean, just being who we are, right?
Yes.
And going out into the world and serving in our unique way. And our unique way is just showing up as the fullest expression of ourselves. It's not like going out and figuring out how can I be unique? Can I wear a fancy hat every day or whatever it is? If you want to, great, do that. But you don't have to find the one little thing that no one else is doing. All you have to do is focus on, just like you said, the client, your best fit client that you're serving. What is it that they want? How can you help them get it? And what is standing in their way? And focus on solving their problem in the way that only you can do, based on, which is just being yourself, because it's based on your experiences, your education, your, all that you have fought and experienced and worked through and conquered and in your life. It all comes together in this beautiful way that becomes your blue ocean. And people will be magnetically attracted to that, to people that are just themselves, right?
Yes.
And share their story and help others. So
that's so simple. It's so beautiful. All right, Melissa, people are like chomping at the bit. I know. How do they get to connect with you? Where can they find you? I know you have a beautiful gift for people. So will you tell us about that and how people can connect with you? And you have a podcast too. I want you to tell them about your podcast so they can go listen to you.
Yeah. So my podcast is Doing Business Like a Woman, and Allyson has been on there.
It was so fun. That's why I was like, you need to be on mine. I want my audience to know you.
Yeah. So check that out. And then I do have a freebie. It's called 12 Brilliant Marketing Topic Ideas. And really what it is, it's a guide of prompts to help you really hone in on your best fit client and how you can best help them, and tons of ideas that you can use for your blogs, videos, reels, social media content, any kind of content that you create, this prompt will help you. You could create a year's worth of content off of this one freebie. So you have to
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get that, because that's my biggest thing that I come up against is like, I got nothing to say right now. I got to go do a blog, or I got to go do a live. What am I going to say? Because I got nothing, although I have plenty. But in the moment, when you're like, so I'm going to go get that, a year's worth of content. Whew, and ideas. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. And those links are below in your show notes. So make sure that you click on that and get into Melissa's ecosystem, because she has so much wealth for you there. And she is like living proof that you can be highly successful as a businesswoman doing businessy things like marketing and still be a woman and not have your soul sucked out of you. So Melissa, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we say goodbye?
I think just practice trusting yourself and listening to your own inner knowing. You have everything you need to create whatever you want right now.
Amen, sister. Amen and amen. Thank you once again. Those of you tuning in, thank you for being here. And remember, prosperity becomes you.